Good evening and welcome to the Marin Virtual College Fair, co-sponsored by the Western Association for College Admission Counseling and brought to you by StriveScan. Tonight's presentation is in a 6x6 format where you'll hear from 6 colleges for 6 minutes each. If you have questions for our panelists tonight, please use the Q&A button, which can be found at the bottom of your screen, to type your questions to the presenters at any time. Your camera and your microphone are off, so you are muted and the panelists cannot see you nor hear you. This is just one of many sessions we're offering, so certainly please sign up for additional sessions to learn about additional colleges. And if you'd like to review tonight's presentation, the recording will be available within about a week at the same website at which you registered for the program. So now that we've got our ground rules out of the way, I'd like to introduce the representative from the University of the Arts.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Sarator, and I am an undergraduate admissions counselor here at the University of the Arts in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I primarily work with students from the city of Philadelphia, but also the West Coast. So this is my contact information if you do want to reach out after this presentation, or if you do have any questions for me. I'm definitely your go-to girl. For those of you who aren't familiar with University of the Arts, we are an art-focused university with over 30 majors, 29 minors, and 13 grad programs located in the heart of Center City, Philadelphia. Our programs span across the visual, performing, and liberal arts. So we have creative writing, sculpture, animation, vocal performance, illustration, musical theater, and the list goes on and on. If you want to take a more in-depth look at any of our programs, I recommend checking out uarts.edu/programs. You can find curriculum there, faculty and alumni profiles, as well as some of our current student works. I really like to start off by telling stories about some of our alumni. This is Gianna, who came from a small town in New Jersey, and this is Udi, who's from the big city of Los Angeles, California. Gianna was passionate about photography, while Udi had a love for dance, and they both chose UArts as the place to hone their skills. In 2013, Gianna received her BFA in photography from UArts and went on to work as a photographer for Urban Outfitters. She's now worked her way up to becoming the art director for the women's department at Urban. And for those of you who don't know, Urban is headquartered in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. In 2016, Udi graduated from our School of Dance, and as you can clearly see, he's already been featured and danced in some of Beyonce's music videos. From finding a passion to studying it intensely at UArts to then landing jobs in their fields shortly after graduation, both of these alumni followed a pretty defined path. However, your journey does not have to be that straightforward. So this is Amberella. She also received her BFA in photography. However, she used her electives to really explore something she found to be interesting, and she fell in love with wheat pasting. She's now a prominent street artist who has work in Philadelphia as well as across the West Coast, and has made creations for companies such as Live Nation and Doc Martin. These are just a few of our alumni stories who are making an impact all over the world. Some are fine artists, some are traveling performers, and many of them work for companies like these. If you want to check out any specific programs or any of our other alumni, you can go to uarts.edu/alum. When your passion is in the arts, you can really be whatever you want to be, and you should be. When somebody tries to stick you in a box, it really stifles your creativity. But at UArts, your creativity is what matters most. We allow you to study across different disciplines and collaborate with other artists. Graphic designers can play music, and dancers can be painters. You don't have to be X, Y, or Z. You can be all three and more. And that's what makes UArts different. We also offer professional experiences for you to take advantage of, like internships with notable companies. They are required for our visual artists, and though they are not mandatory for our performers, we still have those opportunities for those students as well. We have study away opportunities, which is another great way to gain real world experience and expand your art practice. But you really don't need to go far to have a great experience because we are located in an art-centric city of Philadelphia with tons of performance spaces, museums, parks, restaurants, and Center City is really the place to be. Our inclusive community offers a variety of on-campus clubs and organizations and events that are open to all majors. We're also a part of a lot of programs and partnerships throughout the city, including the Mural Arts Program, which is the nation's largest public art program. It's produced over 3,000 murals in Philadelphia. We have 4 apartment-style residence halls that make it easy to find things to do on campus and around the city. If you want to check us out, you can take our virtual tour at uarts.edu/visit. To dive into our application process and materials, we do require an online application through our website, a 250-word writing sample, your high school transcripts, and then a portfolio, audition, or interview, depending on what program you are interested in. You can find all of the information you need to apply at uarts.edu/admissions, and this is also the general admissions email. Last thing I'd like to point out is for you to check out our Instagram, our handle at University of the Arts. We have a hashtag UArtist, which is a celebration of the creativity of our UArts community. We have students, faculty, staff, and alumni that all post things via Instagram, including that hashtag. That wraps up my presentation, but I thank you all for attending and feel free to reach out to me if you do have any other questions.
Thanks so much, Sarah. Next, we'll hear from Lafayette College. Kathleen, I think you're muted.
Well, I wish I had $1 for every time somebody's told me that this year. So Kathleen Williams from Lafayette College. I'm the director of West Coast Admissions, so I am your person. Lafayette College is located in Easton, Pennsylvania, and no discussion about Lafayette would be complete without mentioning the Marquis de Lafayette. So certainly you've probably seen him in Hamilton, but he was more than just a figure in Hamilton. He was a real person who made a real impression on the colonists and in fact helped us win the Revolutionary War. He was a man well ahead of his time. In defiance of Louis XVI, he set sail to help us in the Revolutionary War. He was a suffragist, he was an abolitionist, and he was really a guy who got things done. He was practical, tactical, and brilliant, and his motto was "Cur non," why not? It is the motto of Lafayette today. We are an applied liberal arts school. Well, what the heck does that mean? That means that we are a school where students take what they are learning in the classroom and apply it to real life. We have 4 divisions. Engineering, where we're ranked number 13. We've been doing engineering for over 150 years, long before it was cool to be an engineer. The social sciences, the natural sciences, and the humanities. If you are looking for a place where your presence in the classroom will be part of the learning dynamic, that's Lafayette. With an average class size of 18.6, you will always be taught by a professor, never a grad student because we don't have them, never a TA because we don't have them. We're an undergraduate college where all opportunities are yours and yours alone. With over 200 clubs and organizations, including a nationally ranked speech and debate team, there's plenty to do at Lafayette. We're also, to the surprise of many, a Division I school. So one of the smallest schools in the country at 2,700 students with Division I football. You can look at some of the lists for football rivalries, college football rivalries, and you will find Lafayette among the top 10. Lafayette and Lehigh have played each other more times than any 2 schools in the country, having played their 150th game against one another at Yankee Stadium to a sold-out crowd of nearly 50,000 people. The Empire State Building was lit up on one side with Lafayette colors and on the other side with Lehigh colors. I am most assuredly happy to report a Lafayette victory. So we have certainly Division I sports scholarships for some of our 23 Division I sports. We also have full, half, and quarter merit tuition scholarships, and we have ROTC scholarships. We are an ROTC campus for the Army. Downtown Easton, we like to say we're in the middle of everywhere. We're 70 miles to New York City and 70 miles to Philadelphia. The Lehigh Valley is the third largest area of Pennsylvania. About 800,000 people live in the Lehigh Valley and about 30,000 people live in Easton. To orient you, the college sits up here on College Hill. You can walk down a pathway and that's going to drop you right in front of this building, which is our arts building. This roundabout is home to the oldest farmers market in the country. Lots of history in Easton. Our Declaration of Independence was read in 3 cities back in the 1700s. Easton was one of them. If you are a foodie at all, you will not be disappointed. I know as Californians, as I was up until 2 years ago, I think that we have a little bit of an attitude about how great the food is in California, and it surely is. And I am not disappointed at all with my choices in Easton. If you've ever picked up a Crayola crayon, it came from Easton. What you can't see in the bottom of this picture is the Crayola Crayon Factory, which is an interactive place for children of all ages. But in fact, there is a factory in Easton, and that's where your Crayola crayons are coming from. Also, what you can't see here is that we are on the Easton is where the Delaware and Lehigh rivers converge. So lots and lots of outdoor activities. When we're not in a pandemic, we have we have a garlic festival, not as big as Gilroy's, but pretty substantial, and also Bacon Fest. And Bacon Fest, 100,000 people will converge on Easton, and there's even vegan bacon. So this is a picture of the downtown arts campus that I was telling you about. That's where our film and media studies, theater students, and fine art students will take their classes. That's home to our Black Box Theater, our cinema, our radio and television stations. And up on campus right here is the Williams Performing Arts Center. That's where our music students would take their classes. At Lafayette, it is very common for students to double major, major minor, and in some instances get dual degrees. In fact, our director of the arts will tell you that some of her best musicians are engineers. This is an aerial view to give you an idea of what the area looks like. As you can see, there's a lot of greenery. The outdoor club is one of the biggest clubs on campus because there are lots of bike paths, running paths, etc. To avail yourself of. And clearly we have water in these rivers. So outcomes, return on investment, Lafayette is huge. Having made it to March Madness in 2015, we got annihilated by Villanova in the first round, but payscale.com and Money Watch bracketed all 68 teams in the tournament that year for return on investment. I'm happy to report that although we could only hang with Villanova for about 10 minutes, despite the fact that Harvard, Duke, and University of Virginia, among others, were in the tournament, Lafayette won the tournament for return on investment. So this is how do you get to us? We're a Common App school. We're one of the few schools in the country that meets 100% of demonstrated financial need. We're both an early decision and a regular decision school. So if you have any more questions, please don't hesitate to check us out. We have lots of virtual events going on. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next presentation is from Drexel University.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm just going to share my screen real quickly with you all. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name is Donna Mayer. I'm a Senior Assistant Director of Admissions at Drexel University. Drexel is located in the city of Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. We're in a fantastic location. Where we are located is called, if you want to be a proper, West Philadelphia. If you're born and raised such as I am, it's West Philly, but many people also call the neighborhood University City because of the fact that Drexel University is there, and across the street from us is the University of Pennsylvania, and not too far away, the University of the Arts. So the 3 universities there really have taken over that neighborhood, and it's just a great location for college students. If you're looking for housing opportunities, Philadelphia is a great location as well for anybody coming into most industries these days. Drexel University has about 15,000 undergraduate students, but we're able to keep our student to faculty ratio quite low. It's 11 to 1 with the median classroom size of about 19 students. We offer a broad range of curriculum at Drexel. We have 80 undergraduate majors, as well as about 120 minors. So if you're interested in continuing in crossing disciplines, in interdisciplinary studies, you're able to do that at Drexel University. So you could be a biomedical engineering major with a minor in psychology, because your goals might eventually be to work with children who need prosthetic devices. That was the story of one of our former student ambassadors. So again, the opportunities you have at Drexel aren't dictated by your major. They're really based on what your goals are, what your endeavors are, and what interests you have. We are proud to have students coming to us from all across the United States and all around the world. And we have a very strong global alumni network. Drexel's curriculum is quite unique in the fact that it's run on a quarter system. Drexel also allows all students to participate in programs that throughout the university, such as research. We're an R1 research institution. All students are able to participate in the honors program. They can be considered for that program. All students are able to do study abroad. All students are able to participate in clubs, organizations, and activities all across the university. Probably one of our most well-known programs at Drexel is our cooperative education program. We call it co-op. It's the opportunity for Drexel students to leave the classroom for a minimum of 6 months or maximum of 18 months, a year and a half, to work professionally in their intended field of study. It's a really impactful program that allows you to really step away from the classroom. No homework, no tests, no papers during that time that you're working, just focusing on the work at hand and understanding and learning more about the industry that you think you're going into. So as far as the importance for the co-op program for our students, the 98% of our students participate in the co-op program, and 85% of these positions are full-time, so they're paid positions, and the average salary for each co-op is about $18,000. Students get to choose, for the most part, if they want to be a 4-year student at Drexel to do 1 6-month co-op, or would you like to be in that same program, same major, same degree, same amount of time in the classroom, and same tuition, to choose to be a 5-year student so that you can do 3 co-ops instead of doing 1 co-op opportunity. So the 5-year students get the chance to not only go through the interview process 3 times, earning those really important, valuable skills, they also get the chance to work in 3 completely different locations, 3 different industries. If they realize maybe from that first co-op that maybe their first co-op showed them this really isn't the industry for me, maybe I need to look at another career or something else in this industry. And then they can continue on with doing 2 additional co-ops to really help them understand what that world would be like for them, what that type of work would be, what would be offered for them. And co-op is available to students all around the world. It is a global program. If you're interested in study abroad opportunities at Drexel, again, they're available for all students. Our vibrant student campus offers 350 student organizations, and these can be based in just something that you're interested in. You can join the Weekend Warriors Club. You can join the Rock Wall Climbing Club, dance programs, performing arts ensembles that we have on campus. The clubs go all the way to Greek life. You could also go all the way up to professional organizations that are available to our students. Again, we're located in the city of brotherly love in Philadelphia. So we do have a very vibrant campus. You're able to choose what residence hall opportunities you'd like to be a part of. So if you want to live in a living learning community, they're available for you as well. Foodies are really happy when they're in Philadelphia because we, just on our campus alone, we have a food truck that has 30 different versions of mac and cheese. There's another food truck, my personal favorite, who makes a tremendous burrito out of Captain Crunch and tilapia. So just a lot of fantastic options for anybody that's a foodie. The application process for Drexel is quite easy, I would say. It's on our website as well. So Common or Coalition application, we do a full holistic review. This year we are test optional. All students that apply to Drexel are automatically reviewed for merit-based scholarship. You can apply to Drexel for directly to your major. You can apply undecided. So if you're looking to come to Drexel for nursing, you can apply directly to nursing. If you want something in engineering, you're just not sure what field, undecided engineering could be a fantastic opportunity for you. If you're that student who really isn't sure exactly what you want to do, you know you want something in the STEM field or non-STEM fields, our first year exploratory major would be fantastic for you to select. And again, we are test optional this year. The only students that must submit standardized testing will be those students applying to our 8-year early assurance medical program. You may be required to submit additional materials based on your major. Most of our students in our Westfall College of Media Arts and Design are custom design majors. They must submit additional application materials. Our deadlines are also coming up. Early action, early decision, November 1, regular decision, January 15th. All students that submit the CSS profile will be reviewed automatically for the Drexel Grant, which is an opportunity that we're proud to offer students. If you want to be reviewed for federal and state aid funding, then we recommend that you submit the FAFSA application to be reviewed by the federal government and the state governments. Our open house weekends are coming up November 15th. Virtual opportunity for you to sit in on information sessions about your major and also to hear from current students at Drexel University. And this is my contact information, but I'll be happy to share more information with you in the chat. Again, thanks so much for spending some time with us.
That whole idea of tilapia and Captain Crunch is really interesting. Next, we'll hear from Bard College.
Everybody, my name is Colrick Greathouse, and I am the Assistant Director of Admission and West Coast Coordinator for Bard College. Bard is a private college for the public good. And so what that means for us is that we have a national and international network of campuses and programs that support our work in environmental and social justice, as well as access to education, which is a huge part of the work we do as an institution. So we do this on a local, national, and global level, but beyond education, we are also preparing and providing opportunities for students to engage in that same work. In fact, for example, we were the first college in the country to offer a major in human rights. So there are two examples that I typically like to share, which are seemingly unrelated. The first is we have 2 farms and an orchard on our campus, as you can see there on the image on your screen. And they supply more than 20,000 pounds of produce annually to our community farm stand, dining hall, as well as donations to local food banks and shelters. And then the second example that I like to share is that we have the largest degree granting prison education program in the country called the Bard Prison Initiative. So what do these 2 examples have in common? Well, both of those programs were started by Bard students. And I highly doubt that the student who created the tutoring program, his name was Max Kenner, for incarcerated individuals back in 1999, I doubt that he knew that this program was going to grow into something as large as it has. So these are just 2 of the myriad ways that you can get involved in existing programs or create something new with Bard in order to make a difference in the world as you study. We have about 1,900 undergraduate students on our 1,000-acre campus in the historic, scenic Hudson Valley of New York. We have a 9-to-1 student-faculty ratio, and our average class size is about 14 students. But beyond the access to New York City by train, you can see the little train line right here running along the river there. We offer, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. So you have easy access to New York City, but we are a rural campus. So if, going for a hike with your morning tea and sitting and reading under a tree before class is how you imagine your college experience, or taking a swim in our waterfall on campus on a hot day, then, we might be the place for you. We also operate a national and international network of campuses and programs. We have high school early colleges across the US where students get their high school diploma and their associate's degree from Bard, tuition free, which they can take anywhere. We also have an international network of campuses, including the largest Russian-American education collaboration with the Smolny Honors College in St. Petersburg. We have the largest Palestinian-American education collaboration with Al-Quds University in the West Bank. And we are partnered with the Central European University in Vienna, Austria, and are co-founders with them for the Open Society University Network, which just received a $1 billion grant to continue to expand access to the liberal arts around the world. So we're really excited for all the opportunities that is going to bring. We have fields of study in 4 different divisions, as you can see here: the arts, languages and lit, STEM, and social studies. And despite these distinctions, our faculty actually teach based on their passions, their current research and work. So we don't have TAs or grad assistants teaching classes, as I mentioned before, with that 9-to-1 student faculty ratio. Our professors want to know you, and they want you to know them. They're on a first name basis with you. They'll have you over to meet their families and play with the dogs and have dinner. Many of our faculty live right on campus, not far from our residence hall communities. But I also bring this up to say that if you look at the list of fields of study here, and you don't have to read through all of this, it's available on our website, or you can screenshot it here. But the largest list of majors here is under the interdivisional programs. And I think that just highlights how interdisciplinary learning is within the liberal arts in general, and also at Bard. So there's really a lot that you can do. You can double major, joint major, do a multidisciplinary study. and really craft your own experience. We have an open-ish curriculum, so we have what are called distribution requirements. You could think of them as trending topics, and every class has a hashtag. I know that sounds reductive, but I tend to think in analogies. And the idea is that you have to satisfy all 10 themes in the distribution requirements, but how you do that is up to you. So if you're not a STEM person, you can take the chemistry of photography or our course on pigments in order to satisfy science requirements, for example. You don't have to be in a lab if that's not something that you're interested in, but you can also do research with your faculty. In fact, our professors depend on undergraduate participation in research. So when they publish, you publish. So if you're interested in studying the sciences in a small liberal arts context, we may be the place for you as well. Just a few facts and figures. Something important to note I'll highlight on this slide. I've talked about some of this already. 1/5 of our student body comes from outside the United States, and another 1/5 of our student body comes from the West Coast. So you absolutely would not be alone and come from California. In fact, California is the second highest represented state on our campus. I'll also highlight here that our campus is residential. We guarantee housing for all 4 years, but we require it for the first 2. So once you declare your major at the end of sophomore year at the earliest, then you have the option to move off campus. We're on the Common App, pretty easy to apply. I encourage you to check out the immediate decision plan if you're interested in applying early anyway. Those are the spots that are left for interviews, and it is an immersive application experience. So I'd love to hear more from you. Definitely post in the Q&A if you have questions. And I know I'm not supposed to do the transition, but I'm excited because I'm an alum of Rutgers. So I'm glad that I'm on this call with Rutgers University.
Go right ahead. You pass it on. Let's go Rutgers.
Sue Chapman, take it away.
Thank you. That was a beautiful introduction. Let me share my screen. Always nice to find an alum in the audience, or even among the other presenters. Hi, everybody. I'm Sue Chapman from Rutgers University, New Brunswick. Thanks for joining tonight. So Rutgers is a large public research university located on the East Coast. We're known primarily for anything in the health sciences, business, and engineering, although we have over 100 majors. We also have a large athletics program. We do play in the Big Ten Conference. And within that conference, there's a couple things that make us unique. For one, we're the farthest east of all the Big Ten universities. We are the most diverse of the Big Ten. And last but not least, we're also the oldest and most historic. We were founded in 1766 as one of the 9 original colonial colleges. And before I move on to my next slide, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that the majority of our students do report that they do original research with professors while they're still undergraduates. So I mentioned our location on the East Coast. We're very close to New York City. It's about 45 minutes away by train. Going back and forth to campus from California, the closest airport to us is definitely Newark. Newark is, roughly speaking, right on the way from New Brunswick to New York City. It's right along that train route. And our campus, if you see the diagram on the right, is not built off of a central core. It is sort of sprung up over 4 square miles. Our historic center is the College Avenue campus. And each of these areas labeled a campus is kind of like the neighborhood of a big city, if you will. Each has its own look and feel, but furthermore, each also has academic buildings and residence life. So if you never left your neighborhood, you could be in an educational experience with 4,500, 5,000 other students and feel like you were attending a much smaller college. However, it's inevitable. When you're at Rutgers, you are going to be attending a large university and taking advantage of all the services that we offer, and you will be all over campus at one point or another. And for that reason, we provide a Rutgers University bus system to get you around safely and quickly. So how this works for applications. For freshmen can apply to one of 7 different schools at Rutgers. Or I should say you can join only one of 7 different schools at Rutgers. On your application, you can apply to up to 3. School of Arts and Sciences is definitely our largest school with about 2/3 of the students and 2/3 of the majors. Our professional schools are pharmacy, engineering, the business school, and nursing. They do tend to have a slightly higher admissions profile than the other schools. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention our Mason Gross School of the Arts, which is our arts conservatory of about 800 students. So I was speaking of Rutgers as being a large university, but we do some things that show we're working very hard to make our big university feel smaller. And one of the things we're very proud of is a first-year seminar that we call the Burn Seminar. This is a 1-credit class that has no grades. It is co-taught by 2 different professors, and the class size is capped at 20 students. So this is a great opportunity for that student who's new to campus, is looking to make friends, is looking to make early connections with some faculty, to have a wonderful introduction to the Rutgers experience. And in terms of your time at Rutgers, just an example of some of the different types of programming that are available is we do have a very large study abroad program with 180 different offerings in roughly 50 countries. And what's it like to be a student? What's it like outside the classroom? Well, 90% of our students return after freshman years, and we're very proud of that statistic. And when one looks at the geographic distribution, where do our students come from? About 20% of them are coming from outside of New Jersey, and that's roughly split between an international population and what we call an out-of-state population. So, students like yourself coming from California or Minnesota, Texas, Maine, you name it. Anecdotally, about 100 students a year from California have been coming to Rutgers in my time, which is over the last 7 years or so. And if the classes don't keep you busy enough, one can't study all the time, you're looking for some diversions and fun things to do, know that we have 750 different student organizations and lively Greek life with 80 fraternities and sororities available. And a few sort of nuts and bolts before I wrap up. It is important to please apply by December 1st, because if you apply by that date, we automatically consider you for a merit scholarship or an honors opportunity. In order to apply to Rutgers, you can apply either using our own Rutgers online application or the coalition application. Like many of the other colleges that have gone before me have mentioned, we are test optional. We are test optional for fall 2021. We're still looking at that for future years, making a determination how we'll be going on that. But know that on your application, you'll be asked, do you wish to have your test scores considered or not? And we've worked very hard in terms of enhancing the quality of our holistic review to ensure that the student who does or does not report test scores receives a very thorough and fair evaluation. And in closing, here's my email address. Again, I'm Sue Chapman. I'm the rep for Northern California. And thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Sue. Our last presenter this evening is from Marist College.
Right. Hi, everyone. I'm just going to share my screen. Awesome. So just to introduce myself a little bit, my name is Kelly Meanston. I'm one of the admission counselors here, also a proud graduate and alum of Marist. I graduated in the class of 2019. So I've been working as an admission counselor for a little over a year now. But thank you all so much for hopping on, and we'll go into a little overview of Marist. For those of you that don't know, we are located in Poughkeepsie, New York. We're located right on the banks of the Hudson River, as you can see from our drone footage that takes you around campus. We have a lot of academic buildings and residential life that we'll definitely get more into, but this just shows you and takes you around campus. We have a very active campus and highly involved campus, and that's also the type of student that we're looking for at Marist. We want someone who's going to get involved in their academics, but also going to get involved in all the different things that our campus has to offer for our students. And these are just some Fox facts to quickly go over some of our numbers. We have a little over 5,000 undergraduate students. We have about 1,000 graduate students. Our undergraduate students are really coming from all over. They're coming from 47 different states, 64 different countries, and about a quarter of them identify as students of color. So our Marist students are really coming from all different backgrounds, experiences to really create one unified Marist community. I know even just from my experience, half my sophomore housemates lived in California. So it was a lot of fun to meet with different people and to live with different students as well. We are also a private liberal arts institution, so we have over 40 different majors for our students to choose from. We look at the areas of study on the next slide, but students are really encouraged to pick and choose their different interests to create the most well-rounded experience for them. Within the classroom, since we are kind of a small to medium-sized institution, our student-faculty ratio is about 16:1. Most of our class sizes are ranging in that 20 to 25 range, and we really put an emphasis on that professor to student relationship. To touch upon residential life, about 96% of our first-year students do live on campus for that first year. The other 4% are commuters, and students definitely take advantage of the different townhouse style living and apartment style living that we have on our campus. And just to touch upon success before I move on, about 98% of our students are employed or attending graduate school within 6 months of graduation. So very high employment rate and graduate school rate that we are very happy to have. And our graduation rate also is taken into consideration all students that are graduating on time and with the 4 years and everything that they need to be successful. As I mentioned, students have a wide variety of options to choose from for majors and minors, and many Marist students will have different majors and minors. They'll have one major, two minors, two majors and a minor. We really encourage students to pick the best academic path for them, and many students also come in undecided as well. We have a great focus program that helps our students figure out the best path for them. We also put an emphasis on hands-on learning here at Marist. This video kind of takes you around some of the different labs that we have on campus for our students to get that experience. We want students to put theory into practice within the classroom and on campus so that they can get that experience and take that with them. We have internship opportunities and study abroad opportunities all over. Students are really able to intern in their hometown. In Poughkeepsie, we are in a very historical area, so students have many opportunities there. We're also about an hour-and-a-half train ride north of the city, so many students can intern in New York City, and we're at about an hour drive from Albany as well, so students can take part in internship programs there as well. We do have a few programs in Washington, D.C. and a internship program in London, so students also take advantage of those as well. Study abroad is a huge part of our Marist campus too. We have a full freshman year abroad, we have semester-long abroad, we have short-term abroad, which are about 2 to 3 weeks. So we have a wide variety of options for every student, and we want to cater to each student's interests and needs as well with our different opportunities. On campus, we have a very active campus as well. We have over 80 different clubs and organizations to choose from on campus, and many students are involved in at least 2 or 3 clubs. We are also a Division I sports college. We have 23 Division I teams. We have club sports, intramurals. We just have a very active campus, and we are looking, like I said, for a student to get involved not only in academics, but also in the clubs and activities that we have. Just to touch upon the application for a little bit, we have a deadline, a few different deadlines. November 15th is our first deadline, which includes early decision 1 and early action. And we also have February 1st, which is early decision 2, and then March 1st is regular decision. Both early decision have the early decision 1 and early decision 2 have those binding aspects. So if you apply through those and get accepted, you have to come to Marist. And then just to look at the admission profile, these are just figures for the middle 50%. So most students' GPA ranges between an 87 and a 93, and we are test optional, but those are some of the middle 50% of those that submit their scores. We do accept the common application. We have our own Marist application, and we also accept the My Coalition application. We also have a very holistic review process, so really every piece of the application is so important to us. The personal essay, letters of recommendation, the club list and activities, extracurriculars. Like I said, we just want a well-rounded student at Marist, and that's what we're looking for here. We are also open for visitors. Our students are on campus and doing very well on campus. So we definitely encourage you, if you can, to come visit either in person. We have self-guided tours, we have driving tours, we have in-person tours. We're also offering a wide variety of virtual programs as well. We offer virtual information session, virtual tours, as well as virtual student panels. And we just introduced a new virtual shadow day program, so you can follow around a red box student for the day. And our virtual open house is coming up this Sunday on October 25th. If you wanted to hop on, we'll be talking to a lot of different professors, faculty, and staff and students across the board to give students a little bit more of an idea of what it's like to be a Marist student and on the Marist campus. And those can all be found at our visit website. And I think that's about it. That's my email if you guys do want to connect or to chat with me. I am the representative for Long Island, but I do work with students from all over the United States. So I'm more than happy to help with any other questions moving forward. And thank you guys again so much for hopping on. My name is Kelly, and I'm happy to be here.
Outstanding. Thank you so much. We do have a few moments, so this is your time, students, participants. If you have questions for any of the panelists, please use that Q&A box on the bottom of your screen to ask those questions of our panelists. And while you may be formulating those in your heads, I am going to do a little round robin question for our panelists. So if everybody wants to turn their cameras and their microphones back on, I would love to know if you have a solid piece of advice for these students who are looking for their college home for the next 4 years? And we'll go in the same order that you presented in.
My piece of advice would definitely be to remember, that creativity is an employable skill, and that there's every field is, influenced by the arts and artists in a variety of different ways. And that if you find something that you are passionate about, invest time in it, make time for that passion, and really fulfill that want, that need to be creative. Yeah, I think that's my advice.
I would say take the leap, turn on, why not? Go east. Employers love it when students leave their environment and venture out to go away to college. I mean, you've heard from 6 great colleges here today. So think about it. And then the same applies for studying abroad. Take that risk. That if you talk to career services, you will find that is exactly what employers want, because you are adaptable. You don't have a set mindset. You really are somebody that employers are going to want by stepping out of that comfort zone.
I would say when you're looking for the school, be yourself, be realistic on your application, because if you only show us perfect you and we admit perfect you, and perfect you shows up, perfect you might not be happy at that school. So really be yourself, share what's important to you, what your passions are on the application. Let us get the best sense that we possibly can through this whole kind of weird process of, reading documents and applications. We try and get the best picture of who you are, and hopefully you get the best picture of who we are as an institution. So I just always advise students, be yourself. You will find your school, you will find your place. So just ask the questions that you have to.
My piece of advice is actually connected with a very brief survey. Fellow reps, raise your hand if if what you studied in undergrad is directly related to what you're doing today, right now. Nobody, right? Maybe a little bit. Okay. So all I'm saying is keep an open mind. Try not to apply to a school strictly based on a program, because as you can see, minds change, and you may be doing something in a career that's not connected to what you've chosen to study. And you may change your mind in terms of your field of study. I know I changed my major 4 different times in college before I finally landed on the right fit. Yeah, exactly. So keep an open mind, think about fit in the campus environment and where you want to call home for the next 4 years, because you really are starting a relationship. You're going to be dating your school for the next 4 years. You can transfer, of course, but it's kind of a pain. Who wants to do that? So yeah, I would say just think about fit, think about where you want to call home, and then let everything else fall into place.
So I would say Rome wasn't built in a day. So the college search, pace yourself. And for those of you who that's too late, sorry. I just mean, it's something that you don't need to necessarily think about as a freshman in high school or even as a sophomore. Junior year, it's a great time to, get out there and visit schools. And now a lot of that is virtual, of course, but to begin sort of testing the waters, finding out what it is that you're interested in, beginning to think about how you want to present yourself as an applicant and what's important to you and what stories you've developed from your own experience that you can make into wonderful essays for when it comes time to apply to college. So like I said, just try and pace yourself.
I would definitely give advice on connecting with admission counselors, current students at the colleges that you're looking into, because they can really give you the best insight into the type of experience that you'll have at the college. I know, especially for me, when I was looking into Marist and other colleges, I didn't know where I wanted to go academically. So I really connected with a lot of current students and saw the types of clubs, activities, everything that I could get involved in on campus, the type of student life I could have. And I think I definitely encourage you guys to really reach out, talk to the admission counselor, talk to current students to see what your campus life, what your student life could look like for the next years.
Awesome advice, everybody. Thank you so much. So with this last minute or so that we have left tonight, I just want to remind everyone that if you participated tonight, you will get a quick survey. pops up right after you click off. So please take the time to answer those 4 questions for us. Help us help our presenters to do great programs for students in the future. Certainly sign up for more sessions if you so desire. And as I said at the beginning, if you missed any of the presentations or just want to re-review them, there will be a recording available. So thank you for taking time out of your day to learn a little bit about these 6 great schools, and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.